Thanks, Elizabeth, for the call.
Elizabeth, yeah.
At 10 past 11, the effect of Twitter, Facebook and other social media has been very apparent this week. The Invisible Children organisation has used a powerful video to show the world about the atrocities committed by Joseph Kony. Have you gentlemen seen it? 27 minutes it runs.
It is
beautifully put together.
It is a very powerful film, and it's had its effect because the last count, I think, was close to 60 million viewings around the world.
I was one of the juniors. I saw it when only 3 million had seen it.
Yeah, well, that was only a couple of days ago.
Yeah,
it's amazing how it's worked, and it's a perfect example. I know John Michael doesn't like idealists that much, but it is a perfect example.
What do you mean? No, what's wrong? Why do you say that?
Because often you bag people for being idealistic.
I bag people that use that sort of thing for their own self-aggrandizement. This man didn't. He did it, apparently, to expose a monster. And it's a very good thing. And
that's what he's done.
And that's what he's done. I think it's a fantastic thing. I don't have... there has been criticism of the amount of money spent on it, but I don't have any problems with that because it is a very powerful film. It's really well done. And in this particular case, the most important thing is to get the word out there. The more people who know about this bastard in Africa, the more likely the politicians are to act and military is to act. So the whole point is to make him famous.
I mean, it'd be great if they did this sort of thing about others that are doing the same or worse.
Yeah.
And well, closer to home this morning, the Facebook campaign against Yumi Steins and George Negus continues to cause waves. Yumi was particularly vilified in social media after she belittled and made sexist remarks about Ben Roberts-Smith. Telstra has acted in response to the furore, and the telco recently removed George Negus from a conference that George was scheduled to MC. The decision will reportedly cost George $25,000.
Now, I think the thing that happened with Yumi Steins and, to a lesser extent, George Negus has gone way over the top. What Yumi said was silly and insensitive. She deserved to be criticised, but she made a mistake. She apologised. I think we should all move on.
Can I ask this question? Who is she? I've never heard of her until
she was on The Circle.
One of the hosts of The Circle.
I know she got on The Circle, but that's not exactly gluing. I'm not glued to the set.
I think she was.
But who was she?
I think she was a host on music video. Like
I'm not glued to that either. But all of a sudden, I'm reading this woman's name. I thought, well, I don't know who she is.
Well, she's a host of The Circle. What she said was silly, and it was ill-informed, and it deserved to be criticised, and it was. But to then turn it into this hate campaign
against her. Well, that's what happens.
But it's wrong, John Michael.
I know it is, but that's what gives people the opportunity to do all that. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but I'm saying there are a lot of people out there that would not face up to this woman and say what they think, but use this so-called anti-social media to berate
way out of proportion.
It is.
And Ben Roberts-Smith is a great Australian. He fights for freedom, and the part of the freedom is freedom of speech. And you've got to be able to have someone like her say what she did. You can criticise her back, but that's it. You don't then turn around and have death threats and
well, that's what happens because people use
the idea of advertisers trying to have editorial control by pulling out. I think that's an appalling situation.
Well, this is what happened with this thing. It gives people a chance to operate in the dark, attacking people. Not just somebody that might have done something as stupid and offensive as this woman did, but other people as well. You don't agree with them, you get on the thing and you berate them and attack them, and God knows, if you're an adult, you might be able to withstand this, but we see now children, teenagers, killing themselves because of it.
Joining us now, Dr. Cullen3AW, who is an adjunct lecturer in marketing with the University of Adelaide. Dr. Cullen, good morning, and do you think Telstra have overreacted by pulling the services of George Negus?
Oh, look, I've got to say, Telstra are driven by almost, well, by the same thing as all of us, really, and that is what are their customers saying and what are their customers wanting? It's probably, the nature of the phone call might have been, George, mate, it's not personal, but it just can't happen. Maybe next year, but not this year, okay? There's too many people just got shit, so we can't have you along to this conference.
So, Doctor, there are obviously two issues we want to discuss here. Let's go back to the first one, and that's the Kony 2012. You being an expert in this area, I mean, have you ever seen anything take off the way this has?
I am seeing it, like, over the last few years, because on YouTube, the way I see it, it started with YouTube. That people got to be able to produce and disseminate content at no cost. You know, it used to be the traditional media used to be have the handle on what content got out there. Well, now with YouTube, social media, and any number of other things, people are able to create content and get it out there. So increasingly, I mean, Coney was a huge one, but increasingly, I'm seeing people get grassroots campaigns really up and running.
I mean, because it's interesting, because in the traditional media, of which we're a part, often our bosses will tell us no one is interested in issues like a despot in Africa. But this goes to show that they are, in fact.
Well, how do you like that? The power of, I'll use a cliche, but the power of the people. I mean, the eyeballs followed. Yes, there was different outreach media, Twitter and Facebook made it happen, and that's a whole story of all its own. It promoted the content. But you're right, the editorial decisions are more and more now made by the people who get the choice to click the URL and see the content. So much to the point that didn't a network actually put that piece of video on as a piece of their own content?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, the project, I think, on Channel 10 between... I think we had a whole show on the thing on Thursday night, and I know Sunday Sunrise also did something similar this morning.
I mean, how's that for a win? Someone's created a piece of content, they put it up. I don't know what media they used. Was it YouTube? But however it got up there, and the network said, yeah, we'll have that content. Let's not pay a producer. Let's not pay. I don't know if they paid licensing. I doubt it. But let's use it and get some eyeballs onto our screens.
Well, we're seeing situations like the election in Russia, so-called election with Putin. I don't think he realises that he's up against this sort of weaponry now, that you can't fix an election and get away with it because there were too many people out there informing each other about what's going on.
Yeah, I had a Russian student of mine 3-4 weeks before the election post something into Facebook saying, yeah, okay, we can guess what's going to happen in Russia, can't we? We're all going to be really pleased with the re-election of the person that we don't really want, something along those lines.
Yeah.
I'd like to think it's a lot more transparent and that the world might be a bit of a place for it. But there is this problem of armchair activism, downside of armchair activism, I suppose, you know. Instead of marching in the streets, people click a like or make a content or retweet something, and then they get exactly the salve to their conscience as if they had an actual, you know.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying about these personal attacks on people. I mean, they attack. Sometimes the attacks may be justified, but they wouldn't face up to that person and say what they think. But behind the mask of this electronic media, the social media, they come out with the most vicious and vitriolic stuff that they would never say to that person's face.
Yeah, I don't know anything at all about Yumi. I've seen her photo on some editorials in people's columns. But you're right. It's she's a person just as we are right now, sitting down trying to make content, entertain or through live discussion or whatever. You know, she was on the spot. She had a crack at trying to make a smart-ass comment. It sounds like a silly comment, but does that really deserve that she's got death threats or people saying horrible things about it? It's just I don't think it's warranted.
Yeah, and what it strikes me is in this world today, saying sorry and apologising for some people is not enough. You have to lose your job, you have to have a threat to your health or whatever, rather than, look, it's a professional mistake. She made a blue, she apologised, we all move on. And to me, that's enough, surely, for a crime like this.
But yeah, the internet, I feel that the internet brings out the best and the worst, another cliche, hey, brings out the best and the worst of all of us. But, sitting in a dark room in your underpants, writing horrible things about people, that it gives that person exactly the same platform as somebody who's spent a lot of time thinking about it, has a compassionate, intelligent approach to it. I agree. Yumi apologised. In a normal world, it should be over, but the internet has a long memory and it's going to be up there forever.
Okay, the hard question then is there any way, or should there be any way, we can control that?
Oh, look, when I'm trying to, when I'm talking to students about building personal brands and even commercial brands, I think it's about the battle of the battle of the content, the battle of the material that you're putting out there. Okay, people are trashing you and saying horrible things about you. I mean, at the end of it all you can do is respond and try to put as much content out there as you're. Enough content back there and stand firm. You know, in Yumi's position, it's like you could be saying, I apologise. It's there. Okay, I've lost my job. You know, my life's been hell for the last however long. You know, how much more do you want? Keep putting those messages back there. It sounds like a David and Goliath struggle, but I must say, Yumi's putting a content out there saying, a piece of correspondence out there saying something. It carries a little more weight than a couple of hundred people, you know, who are constantly trashing her. It's like, well, this is the person who it was, and she's stood up and to be counted.
All right, thanks, Doctor, for joining us on this Sunday, Dr. Cullen3AW. And we are joined by Mark. Good morning.
Guys.